Hello, world. Welcome to the Chip Van Gundy Show. Welcome to the Chip C. Van Gundy Show. You're watching a special edition of TCVS entitled The Awareness of Autism. Listen, let me let you know, this is going to be a special show. The artwork that you're actually looking at behind me was created by a young man who lives here in the Houston area. The most talented artist I have ever met. His name is Grant Monnier. We also have a specialist that's going to come on and give us a little bit more information about exactly what autism is. Miss Kaya Johnson, you are watching TCVS. Don't miss this show. Welcome back to the Chip Van Gundy Show. You're watching TCVS. I have Miss Kaya Johnson here today.
Hello.
How you feeling?
I'm doing good.
How you feel about this artwork behind us?
It's beautiful. My
Isn't it
favorite
awesome?
is the owl and this horse.
And this
And the horse. I didn't see it at first, but I'm loving it.
I'm being told that there's a wonderful story behind all of this artwork. Hopefully we'll hear a little bit about it later on.
Saints fan.
Awesome, right? Saint fans, who that? So, Miss Kaya, tell us a little bit about yourself and what is it exactly that you do?
Okay, so I am originally from California. Came to Houston to go to Prairie View A&M University.
Okay.
I did study education with a concentration in special education. After that, started working with special needs adults for 4 years, so my collegiate year, special needs adults. Then after that, went straight to elementary. So resource classroom, majority of my kids were autistic. And now I'm working with 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. So I'm considered a PPCD teacher.
Let's backtrack. How do you like that new stadium that PV built?
I'm loving it.
We drove by on the way to the PV and the A&M game.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's too much
but
of that.
we drove by and it's really
It's beautiful. I went there for homecoming and it's huge.
Yeah.
I know where my money went. I'm not complaining anymore.
Look, that feels good. So tell us, do you enjoy what you do working with?
I enjoy it a lot.
I'm sure it takes a lot of patience.
It does, and I have patience for kids, but adults, very minimum.
Yeah.
But I love it. I've been doing it. Like, it's something that comes natural to me.
Definitely.
Yeah, it comes natural. I'm able to play with them. I don't take them too seriously. They don't take me too seriously. I'm able to meet them where they are. Yeah. They know me. I'm able to build a relationship with the parents, brothers, sisters, dads, and I love it.
Tell us, because some people know, and then some people have heard the term and don't really know.
Yes.
What is autism?
Autism is a mental condition that is detected as early as toddler years. So when they're babies, a couple of months old, you can detect they have autism, and it does affect them academically. You have some delays. Does affect their communication as well as formal relationships with people.
Okay.
And so I've seen every aspect of that.
Can autism be prevented?
No.
No?
At the moment, autism cannot be prevented, and it cannot be cured. It's something that has to be, you just teach children with autism how to deal with it and how to cope with their society around them.
Okay.
And that's what we do, especially as teachers.
You were speaking to us, to me rather, a few moments ago about the routines and how important that is. Could you stress that a little bit again for me? The importance of building a routine with
so typically when we get kids who have just been diagnosed and we get their evaluations, a lot of the issues the teachers are having are the kids are having issues with going from one subject to another, one student to another. So they're having issues with transitioning. And a lot of the times these teachers, sad to say, don't have a lot of classroom management or consistency. And so when you have a child with autism in your classroom, it is very hard for them to move from one center or one task to the next if it's not routine. And so when you build a routine with them, they stick to it. If it's a routine, if you're in the classroom, they have their classroom routine on the wall, they know it, they stick to it, and can tell you it front ways and backwards. And if that's altered, then their behavior at times it can trigger their behavior.
And we're talking about children with autism, but heck, that's something that all children should have.
Yes.
Is a consistent routine.
Right.
So definitely, whenever we talk about that routine, that's very important. So do children with autism and young people with autism, are they in, would you say, a typical classroom setting, or are they sometimes separated? And is that a good thing or is that a bad thing in your opinion?
It actually varies. So no child with autism is the same as another. They're very different. During my years of teaching, I've had some who were nonverbal and very delayed with academics, and so that caused them to not being able to function in general education classroom, which will place them in a self-contained classroom. I've also had many students who had autism and were very high functioning, can articulate themselves very well, are very good in math and reading, and had minimal delays or developmental issues in academics. So, for instance, I had a kid who was kindergarten, can add, subtract numbers very well, can read third grade, second grade books, but unfortunately could not comprehend what he was reading. So although he had a great word recognition, he could not tell me nothing he read. So that's an issue. I wouldn't place him in a self-contained classroom because of that. Exactly. Right. It's just we'll work on comprehension skills. So it varies with the child, and also varies with the school and the parent. And so the school that I was at the time, we only put kids in a self-contained classroom. They were 2 or 3 years behind, and if they were just a year behind, we accommodated them. And so there's not just one place for
so children with autistic abilities, they are sometimes placed into the general population, and that would sometimes make them susceptible to bullying because of their differences.
You know what? I think right now, I'm going to say the school that I was at, those kids were very warming and very welcoming. Children with autism can be seen as being very awkward, and can have their niches, and they're different. They don't care about anyone else's opinion but their own. They are comfortable with themselves. And the school I was at, the kids there, they knew the kids had disability and they welcomed them. They accepted it. So it wasn't, I didn't see any bullying. If I did, it would stop. But I didn't witness any bullying. And the kids can tell you that they had friends in the classroom. They consider everyone their friend. But the reason why we place these, the children with autism or special needs, any special needs disability in a general education classroom is they have to be able to socialize with kids and peers that are not disabled. When they leave school, you're not going to be in a society with only special ed education children. So you have to be able to cope, socialize, and populate with those non-disability kids. And so you have to teach them. It helps them. It helps them, and also those kids who are not. Who do not have disability. They know how to treat. Exactly. Know how to treat them, and how. I had a kid with this disability. They know how to. They can figure it out, and they'll know. So when they get in society, they'll be able to.
And as the education and awareness and the acceptance grows, then that helps everyone involved, right? Let's take a quick break. Later on in our broadcast, you're going to meet a very, very talented young man by the name of Mr. Grant Monnier. You're watching TCBS. We'll be right back. Welcome back to TCBS. You're watching the Chip Van Gundy Show. I have my friend here, Miss Kaya Johnson. You've been giving me so much great information. We were just talking about the new statistics. I know that some years ago, I want to say, I don't want to misquote this, but maybe in 2000, the year 2000, it was like 1 in like 184. Now the number has dropped tremendously to 1 in 68 people are being diagnosed with autism. Isn't that interesting how the numbers seem to grow?
It is, and being a special education teacher, and right now, since I'm working with kids who are 3, 4, and 5, that is the first disability that a lot of diagnosticians run to is. It's called non-categorical autism. And what that means is they're having some traits. So they'll be identifying some characteristics, some traits as autism, but because they're so young, we can't say, okay, you have ongoing autism. So we call it it's too early to tell. So we call it non-categorical autism, and so we'll give them the accommodations, they'll get the services, and they'll be under the special education umbrella until 6. We feel that at 6 years old, they've developed enough, been in school, and we're able to test them to see if you either have it or you don't.
What does the test consist of?
It is an academic test and a cognitive test, in which you're going to study many skills. They're going to go over many skills, so classroom skills, which you should know in kindergarten, counting, letter recognition, sound recognition, shapes, colors, all that kind of stuff. And then you also go into a behavior survey.
Okay.
You'll give the behavior survey to your teacher, to your parents, and the other person, the person will go and observe them. And they'll just look at their adaptive skills. Can they adapt in different situations?
Okay.
How are they coping with change? How are they coping with certain things? Are they playing with their peers in the classroom? Are they being social? Are they more standoffish?
Okay.
So you're going to try to look for the characteristics of autism, and then also see, are there still delays in the academics? And then you're going to see, okay, well, not much has changed since we've diagnosed in the beginning. Or you'll say some things have changed, have improved, but they're still showing signs of autism, so we'll give them the label.
What are some of the major misconceptions about just, autism as the community's awareness and education about it grows? What are some of the misconceptions about autism?
I think a lot of misconceptions are that, for instance, in the definition it says that they'll have difficulties building relationships with others. That is true to a certain extent. You have some who can build good relationships with others. You have some who will love you, want to be around you all the time, call you their favorite teacher. You have some who, yes, are shunned, can relate to, love, I like you, I hate you, they don't know the difference. So I think some can build relationships with others. Some can be very successful. As you can see, he's able to go out the wall and be very abstract.
Right.
You have some autistic kids who cannot even think abstractly. Like that is a skill that they cannot master. So, for instance, he's been beyond with this, with his artwork. Yes. Then you have some who they say they think that they won't be able to succeed on their own, live on their own, but they can. You put them in environments, situations that teach them how to cope with different situations. So I just think that society in general just feel that the label hinders them. And like he said, it's not what you can't do, it's what you can do. And they can do a lot, but you have to put them in the situation and give them the tools. Yeah, give them the tools to master what they're
like anyone else.
Exactly. If you don't give me the tools, I'm not going to know what to do with them.
Right. Awesome.
Yes.
So, my girlfriend has a cousin who is autistic, just went off to college, and is engaged.
Yeah.
So, what these young people are able to do,
it's mind blowing. Actually, I have at my old school, my music teacher. His son was autistic and was in his second year of college, getting all A's, and he loved music. And he can play any instrument. Talented.
Yeah, that's crazy. Something else that I wanted to ask you: what from your experiences, what allows an autistic person to excel so greatly in one area or aspect of their life, but then to be deficient in others? Like you were saying, one kid could read, but he couldn't comprehend what he was reading. What causes that?
I think it's more so the skills.
Okay.
The skills, and also it's how the skill is presented to them.
Okay.
And so, for instance, if you have a kid or at a young age, you expose a child to music, to sound, they're going to pick up on it. If they like it, they're going to want to explore more genres of music.
Okay.
Different musicians pick up different instruments. So it depends on how you present this skill to them, and if they like it, they're going to be drawn to it and want to explore it more. And with that exploring of one task, is going to leave the other ones behind. Okay. So I have a niche in music. This is where I'm going to feed all of my energy into, and I'm going to grow in that area. And then I might not be so good in reading, I might not be so good in math, but this is my niche. Or, for instance, math. A lot of kids with Asperger's are mathematicians, but lack in social skills. And it's because they're really good at one thing, and so it's like, if I'm good at this one thing, I'm going to keep studying, keep working on it so I can master it. And a lot of them do it, if they can hide behind something, but that's typically what it is how a teacher or a parent or just how they're presented to the skills presented to them, they like it and they want to know more about it, and they just tackle it.
So Grant knew that he
loved art,
and he has mastered it.
Yeah, he has mastered it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I thank you so much, Ms. Johnson, for putting this into perspective for us. And of course, this is a conversation. We could talk about this for hours and days.
Yes.
But I feel like you set us on the right track to wanting to know more and putting us in the right frame of mind when it comes to autism. It seems as though, yes, they do have different deficiencies, but in large part, they're just like everyone else.
Just like everybody
They
else,
need
yeah.
a steady routine. Pretty much anyone excels in one particular area
Yeah.
and may not be as strong in others.
Yes.
And they have the capability to go to college and
Right.
have loving relationships.
Right.
Ms. Kaya, thank you so much for your time. You're
Thank
watching
you for having
TCBS,
me.
and we'll be right back after this.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to the Chip Van Gundy Show. I have our special guest here, Mr. Grant Monnier and Miss Julie M. Coy. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
Man, listen, I'm so excited to have you guys here. And let me just, again, reiterate how thankful I am for you guys to come and share a moment with us and to share this wonderful, wonderful artwork. How's your day been going?
Well, our day's been good so far.
Good. I'm good. We had breakfast. We're ready to go.
So obviously today our set is redesigned with all of this wonderful artwork that we have behind myself. Mr. Grant Monnier is the creator of every single piece of this art. How long have you been doing artwork?
Well, I've been doing it business-wise for 6 years now, but really I've been doing art since I was 4. That's where my passion for paper started. Back then, it was just fun to me. I like to color, draw, paint, and tear paper.
So when did you realize that Mr. Grant had this artistic ability? When did you see that this was actually something that was really good?
Well, I think because it's in my family, musicians and artists and, actors, actresses, it's in the family, I think I took it for granted.
Yeah.
And I was so focused on his autism and but he could draw, he could paint, he could color. I mean, beautifully too. But I just took it for granted. Oh, that's on my side of the family. And so I didn't really see it anything other than, that's nice, Grant.
Yeah. And then after a while, it was kind of like, that's more than nice, Grant.
It's what he was doing. He started out with an 8x10 piece of paper, and he would only draw at the very bottom corner. And it was very, very small, but you can make out the number on the car. I was like, wow, that's like extreme detail.
Right.
That you could make that out. And then he was into Thomas the Tank Engine, and then he started drawing the cars across the bottom of the paper. And then he would do stacks and stacks of paper just at the bottom of the paper. And then I taught him to move up the paper with his artwork. So that came in time as well. But that's what I found was interesting.
So for those of you all that are just joining us, Mr. Grant does have autism, and that's what she referred to a moment ago. When did you realize that Mr. Grant was autistic?
Well, that was in the year 2000, so it wasn't a name that we heard a lot. It wasn't prevalent. We actually went through a divorce, my husband and I at the time, and not knowing what Grant was going through, but there was a lot of upheaval in the family. We didn't know what was going on. And friends would say, you should get Grant diagnosed because of these quirky behaviors he has. And I said, oh no, it'll go away. And it did go away. But then another one would come. And then the divorce occurred. So now it's just Grant, his brother, and I could focus on Grant and got him some insurance. And from there, at the age of 6, he was diagnosed with autism.
That is awesome. So it's good to know that we got the proper treatment and look at what we have here as a byproduct of that.
Oh, yes.
So we were so for those of us who do not know, what exactly is eco art? What is eco art?
Eco art is when you take, to me, when you take recycled materials and create art out of it. What I do is I take paper in different varieties of it, like magazines, calendars, wallpaper, posters, even puzzles. I even can use beads and jewelry, even chipped wood to create my eco art masterpieces.
Wow. And this is what you have here. So we're looking at these wonderful art pieces, and I'll have you know that there is virtually no paint on any of these pieces. Isn't that awesome? There's no paint, and that's obviously, I'm pretty sure where the term eco comes into the artwork.
Right.
Because we aren't using paper, we're recycling different pieces. What's your favorite piece that you've ever done?
Ooh.
I know that's the hardest question to ask.
I know.
I've interviewed songwriters and musicians, and you ask them, "What's your favorite song?" It's like, well, every song is my favorite. But I mean, which one do you like the most, and why?
Well, it's a pretty tough question to ask because every time I do an art piece, there's always something I learned or something I knew that has a story to it. But if there was a fire, and I had to take
You had to
just
say
if I had to
one.
take just one, I would probably choose Peacock Lane because
Okay.
that has my signature mark, the puzzle pieces, and it has so many colors to it, and people like it.
Yeah.
The only problem is I forgot to bring it today.
We have a small one there.
But yes, we'll take a look at the.
I have it under lock and key.
Right, that's what we were saying before we were in between breaks. We were saying the Peacock, you didn't want to bring it because you wanted to protect it.
That's right.
Right, so that's understandable. So the Peacock one is definitely one that we can see on your website,
Of course. Definitely.
which is grantsecoart.com. So that's grantsecoart.com. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Grant, some of the things that he likes to do with his spare time, and then after that, we'll take a closer look at some of this very, very detailed art. You're watching TCBS. We'll be right back. Welcome back to TCBS. Listen, you are watching a special edition of the Chip Van Gundy Show. You see this wonderful artwork and this wonderful artist that I have here with me, Mr. Grant Monnier, along with his mother, Miss Julie Coy. I'm going to let you just give us a quick little review of some of these art pieces that we have here. Keep in mind, all of the art pieces that you see here, both on the wall and the ones that we're about to take a look at, you can purchase these wonderful pieces on grantsecoart.com. Wonderful holiday gifts and very, very affordable. So what are we looking at here, Mr. Grant?
But right now, that piece you see, the piece up front, that's called the Angel Heart.
Okay. When did you make this one?
I made that actually early in the beginning of this year after
Okay.
I got into a car accident.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's got a pretty long story to it.
There's a message behind it. The message was he was making something for Valentine's. He hadn't gotten around to it. And one day we did get in a car accident before Valentine's, but it was all right. We all came out okay, but it was loud.
Yeah.
And Grant, it took him a while to ease his way through it. But one day he was working on the Angel Heart, and I'm talking about how it was supposed to be a heart for Valentine's. I started talking about the angels that were around us, how we were protected.
Protected you.
And he was
Awesome.
very quiet, and I noticed how quiet he was. But then I looked over there, and he decided to make an angel over his heart. And that's the Angel Heart. And I knew he was still in shock from the accident.
Definitely.
Sometimes I can still remember that accident feeling.
Pretty traumatic. I know my girlfriend got into a car accident, and it's pretty a traumatic experience. So it's good to know that you guys had the angels around you. So this definitely has a wonderful story to it.
That was a Monday, and on Friday he was getting ready to take driver's course, and he finished his driver's course.
Awesome.
he's ready
You got
for
a
his
driver's license?
Not yet.
Okay.
Ironically, I finished the online course, and then this happens.
Okay. Well, hey. in due
He has a
time-
lot of experience.
I had to take 3.
I know, right? It'll come to you in due time. How long does it typically take you to make a piece of artwork?
Well, simple pieces that some can be made over and over again can take about a week or 2 to make, sometimes 3. Although more complex pieces can take about a month or 2 to make. But the longest I've ever done was a year long. And that's only because I had to do other art shows, galas, interviews
Different things you have to do.
during that year.
Definitely. I know, and we were saying this also before the break, looking at your artwork is so phenomenal because you don't just have the ability to go back and get a different color. You have to see these colors in recycled things and then visualize them on your picture, which is really, really awesome, right? Because, again, the artist can just change his color and put an accent here wherever he pleases, but you have to actually see, this wonderful piece of artwork in a newspaper article. What are we looking at here? What's the name of this one?
That one's called The Bounty of Beauty. Like the first peacock before it, this one is practically the same design, only instead of using puzzles for the feathers, I used images from my old calendars. Some of the prints didn't turn out well, some were too dark, some were too light.
Okay.
So I had them, as an eco-artist, I recycled them.
What you do best.
The puzzles.
Right, and there's puzzles right around on the face, the neck, and the body.
Okay. Okay, I see them here. I see them.
The puzzles are my signature mark.
Right.
Because what I do is I take a puzzle piece, one at a time, out of the box. I peel each print, and I use that flat surface for my artwork.
Yeah, wonderful.
So I'm going to brag because he's the only artist in the world.
That's
to do
Mama's
this.
job.
That's my
is to
job.
brag. Let's
He
do
is
it.
the only artist, and I did not realize when I saw Grant for the first time peeling the prints off every puzzle in the box. I said, you don't need to do that, Grant. I'm Googling one night and just trying to find more about puzzle artists. And he's the only artist to do this. However, we have an outreach program where we work with kids and we teach them to do the same thing, because first it's about recycling. It's always about recycling first.
Definitely.
And so yeah, that's my brag.
Awesome. So this one here that we're looking at is actually the first piece that you have ever done. Tell us a little bit about it.
The sun god. That's where it all began. Everything started out as a homeschool art project, and I was doing so well on my online courses. I had all this extra free time on my hands,
Right.
and so I was watching a lot of
Too
TV.
much.
My mom didn't like it, so we brought art back. I tried paint at first, but I just didn't have that drive like I did back when I was younger. So I decided to try paper instead, and that's where the sun god came.
And that's what happened. The sun god.
If you look where the eyes, nose, and mouth is, you can see the paint it was going to start out as.
Let's take a look at that.
And I think why we saw this art later in Grant's life at the age of 13, the collaging, is he didn't have the motor skills when he was younger to cut. He could tear, but he didn't have the motor skills to cut and curve. Now he has it. Yeah, he's good.
What
now.
a cool! I heard you say coolaging. Is there a story behind that term there?
Sure
Coolaging.
is.
Ooh, see, it's simple.
Go ahead.
We all know this type of art is called collages, right? What I use, cool colors, cool shapes, and cool textures. I call my art collages.
And it all even transpired around that piece right there, Mount Rushmore. As Grant was doing that homeschool art project, it was for United States history. So he watched the History Channel while he's working on Mount Rushmore. Can you tell us who commissioned Mount Rushmore? Which president?
President Coolidge.
Coolidge. So the name Coolidge came there.
just kept
Coolidge.
hitting you. Yeah,
Yes, it just cool colors. Cool.
President Coolidge.
I remember stopping saying, "Great idea, Grant."
absolutely.
But yes, that's came from Mount Rushmore actually.
Let's take a look at this last one. This is, and keep in mind, these are all prints, right?
Yep.
And it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the last one, but this is the last one that we're going to be showing you. The rest of them are, again, on the website, grantsecoart.com. This is the coveted, finish that for me, the coveted.
Peacock Lane.
This is the one that was supposed to come, but she had a prior engagement herself. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Right. Well, when I was starting out working out with the puzzle pieces, see right here, right where the neck, the head, the body, and the tail feathers are, all that from different puzzles, from different variety of colors. Because we know the peacocks, when they spread their feathers out, they just have all those beautiful colors to it. I saw one in the zoo, and I figured, I want to make one.
I want to make one.
the lane.
And that
And the
you
lane,
did.
and down here, the lane itself, that's also from puzzle pieces, right from across. The background is wallpaper, and if you look across around the crown, the eyes, and outside the feathers, those are beads.
Oh, okay. So Grant, tell us a little bit more about yourself. What do you like to do outside of this wonderful art that you create?
Well, besides from doing art, I do play video games, whether computer or console. But I also like to do some bowling during my spare time.
Okay.
In fact, I'm part of a league right now.
Okay.
And I also like to do a little bit of golfing sometimes at Top Golf. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, I've never been, but they just built one kind of close to where my family lives in the Webster area.
Yep.
Are you good? Are you pretty good?
I'm about decent. I'm decent.
I tried golfing once, and it was not as easy as people make it look.
I know.
It takes a lot of hand-eye coordination. So Grant, tell us, do you plan to go to college?
Yes, actually I do, but right now I'm taking a year or two off so I can focus more on my art business.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got a lot going on. You have a lot going on. One of the really cool things that you guys have coming out is a project. Could you tell us a little bit more about the project that you have coming up?
Yes, we wrote a children's book.
What?
And it's about Grant. You see that giraffe back there?
Let's get a little close up on this giraffe here.
Has to do with this giraffe. The giraffe is named Grant, the jigsaw giraffe. It's about a giraffe born in a zoo. He was not born with spots. He's different. He was born with puzzle pieces or puzzle markings. And ironically, that's also the symbol for autism, is a puzzle.
Look at that.
But it's called Different is More.
Isn't it
We
awesome?
hope to have this out by April for
Yeah.
Autism Awareness Month. And we will have stuffed giraffes, animals, all named Grant. It's all about Grant's story. But
That
he's a
is
giraffe.
awesome. So, so we know holistically, Mr. Grant has autism, but tell us a little bit more about his story and kind of coming to, again, realizing that different is more.
Wow, his story. Like I said, back in 2000, we didn't have enough information about autism, so it took a lot, and we didn't have Google.
Right.
So it took a lot of friends to help me come to understand what was going on with Grant. it was hard for me to get a job because I always had to go pick up Grant in the middle of the afternoon. At kindergarten, it was half days. And I had to go get Grant, especially when the thunder was coming in. He couldn't handle that. And so it was hard to keep a job because people didn't understand I got to go get Grant. However, I found a job at a school, Westview School here in Houston, and it was for a teacher's aide for autism. I still didn't know Grant had autism at that time, but many years, 15 years before Grant, I had worked with
That was that
disabled
angel
kids.
heart that you guys were speaking of. That's
All
awesome.
that has come together. And so I got a job there, and when I realized what high functioning autism was, I knew low functioning, moderate. We didn't know enough about high functioning autistic people. But when I saw those kids that day, I knew it was Grant. And the director at the time, beautiful woman, made a place for Grant and for me to be at that school. We were there 7 years.
Awesome.
And this is the kid that schools gave up on, people didn't want to watch. This is a result of early intervention.
Wow.
A lot of it.
A lot of early
and
intervention.
a lot of love.
A lot of love.
A lot
It takes
of
that.
tough love and a lot of love.
And I've that's been my philosophy. Don't have any children, but that's been my philosophy. You know, children are willing to take, discipline or correction, like whatever it is that is necessary to bring them up, as long as they know that
They're
you love them.
loved. Oh,
they have to
yes.
know that you love them. So that's a really inspiring story. I had a chance to kind of go through some of it with you, and it's really a touching thing, and it's great for people that have autism or have different abilities.
Yeah, it's not about autism. It's about just being different, whether
Right.
you have a disability or not. A typical person.
Right, and that's what I was saying
Me
is-
is typical. I'm short. So how do I make that
Thank you.
difference more?
Perfect. Right.
You
That's what I was saying. It's that's what his story is about. But this book is about so much more.
And it's about his art
whatever
as
your
well.
difference. Yeah, whatever your difference is, that makes you more than it does than it makes you less.
So I just kind of meshed together Grant being born different, a very supportive mom, very supportive friends, and then his art is in there as well.
You used a term when we were in between breaks, and you said that the autism awareness is more so out there.
Yes.
What we need to really be more
Focused on
is, what's the term you use?
autism acceptance.
Acceptance. Talk a little bit about autism acceptance.
Autism awareness has been echoed throughout the world. So now we're aware, okay, autism awareness. What is autism? Some people still don't know, but they are understanding it. Now let's accept it. Let's accept it into our schools, our churches, bring out these sensory friendly areas so that we can work with our kids until they're ready to, transition with our typical crowd. But autism acceptance is, what are we going to do now that we're aware of it? What are we going to do to bring them into the family?
Definitely. Where can our viewers come and meet Grant in person? You were telling me about an event that he's going to be doing leading up to a really big event next year.
Yes, well, you can always go on Grant's website, and we're going to start posting his dates and where he's going to be at that time. But we just sealed a deal with the NFL Super Bowl.
How awesome is that?
So Grant will be the red carpet reporter, and he will be reporting for We See Abilities, which is our disabled children with abilities. Because we all have abilities.
Right.
We don't like to use disabilities.
Right.
We have abilities.
Definitely.
So he'll be working with the Youth Bowl, Super Bowl Youth Bowl, and Mayor Turner has spearheaded this as well. So just follow Grant on his website, on Facebook, and I'll be posting more and more information and dates.
Definitely. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take a closer, more detailed look at some of the awesome stuff that you see behind us. I'm telling you right now, from this view that you have does no justice. We'll be right back. You're watching TCBS. Welcome back to the Chip Van Gundy Show. You are watching TCBS. I have my good friend here and wonderful artist, Mr. Grant Monnier. He's going to give us a little bit more information about some of the stories and some of the secret information behind some of the wonderful artwork. Let's take a look at this cross that we have here. I see looks like some Bible pages there. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Well, this is called the Holy Cross. What you see in the background is actually from a recycled Bible that was 95 years old.
Wow.
Right. You see here, right into the cross itself, you see the puzzles. See, what I've tried to tell you before, I do peel the puzzles, but I also have all these extra raw materials left over. So what I do, sometimes I do paint them, but not very much.
Right.
But if you see in the center, you see that little cross that represents Texas.
Okay, Star Texas. Okay.
Yeah, the Star of Texas.
Awesome.
If you look closer around the rays, you can see that I can add beads.
Some sequins there. Awesome.
Just to give it a little kick.
Yeah, definitely. Are all of these pieces for sale, or are they just ones that you just like to make, or are they for sale?
Some of them are for sale, some of them aren't. It's so hard to give up some of them.
I know, right? Some of the things, your creations.
Like the peacock or the owl.
I know you don't want to get the peacock up. You didn't even bring it today. Okay.
And though I did not bring the peacock, I did bring this one. This one's called the nesting peak. It's made from a convex canvas. You can see that the canvas is actually a little curved, like this one. Mm-hmm. This is where I started using them for the first time.
Okay.
The whole piece itself is made from puzzles. From the body, the neck, the head, even the background. You see there, that's all jewelry.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a wonderful one. Tell us a little bit more about this one.
Oh, this is where I actually first started with facial features. This was actually during the first year when everything was still starting as a homeschool art project. This one at the 2012 Eco Art Youth at the Austin Rodeo. This is actually the second piece I won. I have another one. It's called the Appaloosa, but I didn't bring it. I'm sorry.
No worries. Well, this is wonderful.
I can only bring so much.
And this is the one that President Coolidge commissioned, right?
That's right.
The Mount Rushmore. That's awesome.
That's right. You see even the back with the red and white. Those are actually school folders.
You can really, really see some of the detail on some of this artwork. It is phenomenal. I'm impressed because you actually made this guy look like George Washington. Don't know how you did it.
It was a little difficult because I never worked with facial features. This is the first time I've ever done it. So I'm kind of proud of myself for doing it.
Well, yeah, this is wonderful stuff, and obviously the people at the Austin Rodeo were very proud of you as well. These are the three wise men. Now this one is just a print, correct?
Yeah, that's just a print.
Okay.
That one's just a print, though. Some of them are prints, but I brought some originals.
Right, definitely.
Like this one over here.
Okay.
The Caribbean Owl. I call it that because I used over 65 posters of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh. You really, really get in really, really close. You can see actual ships from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's right. That in the poster, there was a ship in the background with smoke coming out of it. That's the ship right there. Because you see, it started out differently than this, because for the moon I was trying to find yellow, but the yellow I found wasn't
good. Yeah.
But then I had all these posters left over from one of our art shows for a play called Treasure Island. So I decided to use it, and voila! The moon, the wing, the background, and the grass bottom. That's all from the posters. Everything else from National Geographic magazine.
This tells me this piece I should say, it really sends a message that things are a lot more beautiful and detailed the closer that you look at them.
That's
right? So many times we see people and we judge them or have an opinion about them from a distance, and then the closer that you get, you see more of their beauty. And when you get closer to this picture, you really, really see how detailed it is and how much talent it takes to make a piece like this.
For this piece, I used over 5,000 pieces of recycled paper to create.
Takes time to do that.
No, it takes lots of time. So right here, this guy here is called Tom the Gentle Giant,
and he's also a character from the book that we have, right?
He's also going to be in
there along with the owl. Right.
If you notice, here's a fun fact about Tom. If you look closely, if you look at the hand, the pictures that I saw, because I was trying to get inspiration to make them, that hand was not there. That's actually my hand. I had it in there myself.
Yeah.
And also with this, as I make this piece, I learned how monkeys have to open their bananas, because we open from the stem. They do it the other way around.
Oh, that's interesting to know.
I made this piece using over 6,000 pieces of recycled paper, and of course puzzles as well. If you look in the background,
you
there's
can see
also
the puzzle pieces.
That's right, along with the inside.
That's awesome, man. That is really awesome. Let's take a look at this one. This one has the 3D effect, the panda, who is also a character from the book that you have coming out.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, his name is Baby Moe. If you look closely in the black, the black is recycled puzzle pieces, but the white is actually made from recycled business cards. I have to shred them into little pieces, and it took a lot of time. And of course, which leads me to why he's called Baby Moe. MMOB. You want to know what that stands for?
What does it stand for?
Minding my own business.
So you were minding your own business when you made this wonderful piece of art. Pretty much, right? But this one, along with, and like you say, it's really, really hard to say which one is your favorite. But these two, and according with this, along with this next one that we have, these are some of my favorite ones. Did you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Well, you pretty much know the story. We told you the story. I made this piece for the front cover, and I'm also been doing the illustrations of the giraffe, the panda, the owl, the orangutan.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, he doesn't have regular spots. He has puzzle spots, and we know that the puzzles are the symbol for autism. Because he's not a normal giraffe. He's Grant the giraffe.
He's Grant.
He's me.
He's awesome. He is very awesome. How long did it take you to make this?
This piece took about a month. Took about almost a month to make.
Okay.
I make a few changes here and there, but eventually I got it to exactly to where I need it to be for the front cover.
These are different prints here of some wonderful horses that you have. Even with these high definition cameras, you're only getting a portion of the beauty of some of these different pieces. Let's take a look at here of these. It looks like cigar wrappers there.
This is called the Anilla Fleur de Lis. I call it that. See, if you look closely in the background, that's actually all from cigar bands. A Houston police officer, he had collected so many of these cigar bands for about 10 years, and he saw my art. He asked me if I could do something with it, and I said, "Let me see what I can do."
There you go. That's what you have. This here is on your website. This is one of the first things that I saw when I went to your wonderful website. It is grantsecoart.com.
Right.
Grant is also doing events. He lives here in the Houston area. So if you want to catch up with Grant and see some of this wonderful artwork, you have to visit the website. Did you want to tell us? Okay, I'm sorry. You were saying
actually,
something?
before that, I was trying to see. Not only did I make the Anilla Fleur de Lis for out of his cigar bands, what I had left over, I made his badge. I put that for the background, and I made his badge out of puzzle pieces, his number and all. That's
awesome.
A gift.
That's pretty awesome. Tell us about this one here as we hurry to a break. What is this one that we're looking at? It looks like a swan, correct?
Yes, it's called the Victorian Swan. If you look close, this is actually where the first right here. This is actually where I started getting into the whole shadowing concept.
I see it.
That's where it started out at the beginning. See all the white you see coming down from the feathers, and also here that's actually from wallpaper border. That's why I had to cut out images, not just tiny pieces.
Okay.
But even so, I still got to cut up a lot. And the background is made from wallpaper.
That is pretty awesome.
This is something I really want to tell you. This is a print. The original is much bigger in person.
Okay.
But I sold it. This is called the Mystic Mermaid. She is called that, and it also explains the reason why she has no face.
Okay.
Because depending on the owner's feelings of the Mystic Mermaid, that's how she feels. If you feel sad, she feels sad. If you're happy, she's happy. If you're angry, she'll be angry.
Well, listen, and these aren't all of your pieces here. These are just a portion of some of the great...
This is just a portion.
Yeah, this is just a portion of all the great work that Mr. Monnier has done. You check out his website to see these. You're watching TCBS. Thank you so much, Grant. We'll be right back after this, okay?
Hello, everyone. My name is Grant Monnier, and I'm known as the Eco Artist. That means that I reduce, reuse, and recycle paper to create my eco art masterpieces. I live here in the Houston area, and if you want to check out more of my beautiful artwork, you can check them out on my website, www.grantsecoart.com. And please remember, it's not what we can't do, but it's what we can do that'll make the difference. Thank you.
People don't realize that the opposite of love is hate. I think you can say it. I think it makes sense when you say it. But if love is a strong emotion, then hate is a strong emotion as well. And I think people spend too much time hating. And we use the word hate so loosely. So we think, hating on someone's style or hating on someone's ambition or hating on someone's job or what they have or what they don't have. But no, hatred is so much more intense than just being envious of someone's possessions. Hatred takes time, and it takes energy, and it takes a lot of your resources that you can be putting towards other things. And with that energy, I realized at a very young age that I could be using that energy towards being a better me. So I don't hate anyone. Whether you've wronged me intentionally or unintentionally, I don't hate you because that's just energy wasted. Chip C. Van Gundy here, and we are out here at an early voting site. This is day number 2. Still a lot of excitement, still a pretty long line out here. We're going to be talking to the candidates as well as some of the early voters. We want to get a sense for what is inspiring the vote, and on the candidate side, we want to see what it is exactly that they stand for, because of course we have a pretty wide knowledge of the presidential side of the race, but as it comes down to the different districts and different courts, we want to see what some of the candidates actually stand for. So stay tuned with us. Yes, what's your name, sir?
I'm Jaime.
Okay, so are you out here actually running for office, or are you just promoting for
No,
candidate?
no, I'm supporting a dear longtime friend, a great public servant, Ed Gonzalez for sure.
Okay, let's see your shirt. Let's see your shirt here. Mr. Ed Gonzalez. So, what he's running for sheriff?
Correct.
Great. So, you know Mr. Ed Gonzalez personally.
Yes.
What do you think he would say about some of the recent events that have taken place in the last few months dealing with police brutality? What would his take be on something like that?
Well, those of us who know Ed know he believes in justice and he believes in criminal justice reform. So we will see, I think, with his leadership, given the controversy in the Sheriff's Department, the changes that need to be done so that we as citizens are comfortable that we are safe and secure, in our county.
Thank you so much. So what was your name again?
Jaime.
Jaime, thank you so much for sharing the moment with us. So we are out here day 2, early voting. We're talking to some of the supporters of some of these great candidates. All right, how are you doing today?
Good. My name's Sophia Maverick.
Okay, and you are running for?
I'm running for judge of the 129th Civil District Court.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what you stand for and why voters should vote for you today.
Well, as a judicial candidate, we can't give opinions on specific issues, but I'm a 28-year attorney who's been practicing and litigating cases since I was sworn in as an attorney. I have a very broad base of experience, and I'm hoping that Harris County will elect me to be the next judge of this court.
Okay, and who are you running up against currently?
The incumbent is Michael Gomez.
Okay, Mr. Gomez. All right, so tell us a little bit about how things are going on your side of the ticket. Is that something that you can share your views on?
Well, sure. On the Republican side of the ticket, I think on both sides of the ticket, on a national level, things have been a little crazy.
Okay.
But we're hopeful, and I'm working very hard, and I hope that people will remember, however they feel about things, that we have a lot of down ballot cases and candidates that need their support, and hopefully they'll come out and support us.
Now, typically when we talk about politics, it seems as though the Democratic side supports the entire Democratic side, and so does the Republican side. Could you share your personal views on the presidential side of the race?
I cannot.
Okay.
As a judicial candidate, I'm not allowed to do that. I can just tell you that I have a very broad base of experience.
Okay.
And I hope that the voters will see that I'm qualified to hold this bench.
Okay, well, Ms. Sophia, we wish you the best of luck. Did you want to leave us a card?
Sure, there's a card, and I have a really cute slogan, which is Mamma Mia, vote for Sophia.
Mamma Mia, vote for... Has a nice little ring to it.
It does.
So we have some of the candidates out here as well as some of the supporters and early voters. You really want to take an opportunity to get to know who is on your ticket, not just on the presidential side, but on the down ballot. So your name is Miss Julia?
Maldonado.
Okay, I didn't want to butcher the last name. I do apologize. What are you running for today?
The 507 Family District Court.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you think voters should vote for you.
Well, about myself, I've been practicing family law for about 18 years. I'm board certified in family law. If elected, I would be the only minority in the family courts. We have 10 courts for family law, and we don't have any minority staff in there. We don't have anyone that lives anywhere close to you, me, or anyone else, But I am, like I said, board certified in family law. I've been practicing law for about 18 years. I'm in Hampton before that. And I'm also a parent, a single parent of 2 boys. So I've had both the life experiences as well as the legal experience in this manner.
Sounds great. Are you a Republican or a Democrat?
I'm a Democrat, a proud Democrat.
A proud Democrat. How do you feel about the presidential election? Do you feel like you're getting support from the top? What I mean when I say you're getting support, do you feel like the voters are excited about the presidential side of the election, so therefore they're more willing to stay on that side, on the Democratic side when they're voting?
I think voters are excited about the election. Some of them might be a little skeptical about it, but we cannot depend on the top of the ticket to say that that's what's going to get us elected. We need to get out here and work the vote, earn the vote of our constituents, earn the vote of Harris County.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing. We've been watching you for the last 10, 15 minutes or so, and you're just out here running and just really showing a lot of enthusiasm. And there haven't been a few people that have gotten by without you handing out their card. Real quick, I just want to ask you about some of the things that have been going on in the community. We all know about the police brutality that's been taking place. Could you share your views on that? And I mean, I know that's not the court that you'll be working in, but what are some of the things that you feel like we could be doing to bring some resolve to those type of issues?
I think it starts at home. I mean, one may think that this court may not have anything to do with it. I think educating our children and allowing them to, or teaching them to respect the law, that would be a beginning. But also, we also need to make sure that our police respect also the constituents of Harris County. I think somewhere along the line we've lost respect, and so we need to regain that in order to have that mentality that's going on from both sides of the police to lower that and make sure that that's taken care of.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Julia. We wish you the best of luck, and you can get back out here and see your flight.
Hi, I'm Pat Bryant. I'm running for the 2nd Congressional District in Texas to the United States House of Representatives.
We're out here day 2 of the early voting. So tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do and why voters should vote for you.
Well, I'm a progressive Democrat. I was a Bernie delegate to the state Democratic convention, and when Bernie came around, I did not have to adjust what I believed in. I felt finally here's a politician who believes the same things that I already believe in, and so I worked for him. And then when Hillary won, she had to win by moving over further to the left and adopting Bernie's policies. And so I'm all for that, and I can back Hillary 100% on account of that. The one interesting thing is, well, how are you going to pay for free college education? Well, there was something Bernie said that they had mentioned lately, and that is the lightning boys on Wall Street, the ones who installed their own fiber optics, who are doing lightning trades. And Bernie said, if we tax 1 penny per stock trade, that would more than pay for college education for everybody in the country. And who's going to miss a penny from a stock trade? If a penny is going to hurt a stock trade, maybe you shouldn't be trading.
Right, maybe you're in the wrong line of business there. So I was reading earlier today on a website, and I don't think it's reputable enough to cite that website, but I will ask the question to just see how you feel about it. They were saying that Texas could be considered a swing state. Do you think that speaks to the progressive mentality that people are having in the political world? Do you think that this may be a blue state in maybe this election or in some to come?
Well, there is has always been a progressive groove in Texas, but much of it would be just a backlash against the ultra far right conservative government that we've ended up with. That some of the just ridiculous, laughable, and oppressive things that are coming out of Austin nowadays, yes, that will make people turn blue, and so that's another aspect of it. But yeah, whenever you go back to Ann Richards, Lyndon Johnson, there's a fantastic liberal and progressive group in Texans care about people. Mm-hmm. We care about other Texans.
Right. What do you plan to do? Specifically, whenever you are elected, what do you plan to do?
The first thing I want to work on is campaign finance reform and voters' rights. In campaign finance reform, I believe that we do not need a constitutional amendment to stop Citizens United. We can do it with a simple statute that says corporations shall have no rights other than granted by law. And then that would be some business law and what's declared by the Congress, not these court precedences that have built upon each other. In voters' rights, we could have a statute that would demand minimum standards for the states, that they could not have oppressive voter ID laws, and we would set minimum standards that you cannot get any more restrictive than this.
Awesome. Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you seem like a man who is filled with knowledge. I just want to ask a question. You were like, oh, me filled with knowledge? Yeah, you filled with knowledge. I want to ask a question regarding police brutality, how you felt about some of the things that have been happening in the last few months, and what would you offer as some of the solutions to help kind of curtail some of that police brutality that's been taking place?
I am so glad for Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is attacking a problem that America has had and Black people have had for hundreds of years, and just to attack it head on. And the best explanation of Black Lives Matter, whenever it was just starting to grow, actually came from the police chief of Austin, who's very much pro Black Lives Matter. And so I believe that there are I can't use bad language, can I?
I'm sure. I mean, you can use whatever language makes you feel comfortable.
Well, okay, it's a word that you shouldn't say on the air, but it's asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, in a Joseph Wilmot novel, he explained how cops feel, and he said that there are three classifications of people. There are citizens, there are police, and there are assholes. And of course, the cop's job is to take care of the assholes. And then I read in the paper about 2 months ago a black policeman who was retiring early, and he was explaining it in the terms of Black Lives Matter, and he said, among the police, 15% are really, really good cops. They are just angels. They're great. And then 15% are assholes. And these are the ones who are the super patriot, super cops, and they are also the ones who are the most racist. And then the rest of the 70% of cops go along to get along, and they behave like whoever they're with. You know, if they're with angels, they act like angels, and if they're with assholes, they'll act like assholes too. And it's the 15% of cops who are the super patriot cop ritual. I believe that they are the ones that are the reason why we need Black Lives Matter.
Well, Mr. Patton, I thank you so much for giving us just a little snippet of your brain and how you think and how you feel about things. And I'm wishing you the best of luck. This is just day 2 of the early voting, but I'm sure that a man of your stature won't have a hard time getting votes, and we wish you the best of luck, okay?
Thank you very much.
Have a great one. Chip C. Van Gundy here. This has been day 2 of the early voting. We still have plenty of voters coming up, leaving. We have some of the candidates are still doing some last minute, petitioning for the votes of the voters here. Please come out. The sooner you come, the more likely it is that you'll have a chance to meet one of the candidates that you may or may not like to vote for. We thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching the Chip C. Van Gundy Show. We'll be right back after this. There you have it, TCVS, the awareness of autism. I want to thank my special guests, Miss Kaya Johnson, Miss Julie M. Coy, as well as the wonderful artist whose artwork you are still looking at, Mr. Grant Monnier. Please check out his website at grantsecoart.com. Listen, thank you guys so much for sticking with us. We'll see you next time, and until next time, take care of yourselves, but most importantly, others around you.